Hello, BookTube. We're going to start another bookshelf tour today. This time, the corner bookcase of the east wall of my little book room here. And just a preemptive note in case any of my teenagers are watching. Yes, I am on a stepladder, and no, it's not going to kill me. Anyway, in the last couple of months, quite a few have been very vocal about wanting me to continue bookshelf tours. And I think buried in there somewhere is a very profound compliment about the books that really matter to me and your curiosity to see them. I like that quite a bit. So we're going to do the thin east wall bookcase. And we'll start with the top, which is why I'm on the stepladder. And once again, we'll start with the transverse books to try and get them off the load here. So the first one is A Time in Rome by Elizabeth Bowen. There she is in all her bird-like glory. This is actually the subtitle of the book. A great novelist uses her brilliant talent to illuminate the eternal city. I wish we still lived in the day when Elizabeth Bowen was acknowledged as a great novelist. She's now completely forgotten, and that's a shame. But this is travel writing, paid travel writing, the kind that authors at the time grabbed whenever they could. It was a good check. It was a subsidized trip, and it was also a challenge to come up with something original to say, and this book is wonderful. One of the best books I've read about modern Rome. And then we have the Book of Psalms. Now, of course, I have no... Where am I going to put these in? Oh, there we go. I have no shortage of English language translations of the Psalms, but this thing is just gorgeous. I might have shown it on this channel before. It's just exactly what you want. If you're not looking for a critical treatment, if you're looking for just something to slip in your bag that is beautiful, this is something that I wanted to keep. And then we have My Life by Benvenuto Cellini. This is the Oxford World Classics translation. The Penguin and everywhere else usually translates it as the autobiography of Benvenuto Cellini, but I think I've praised this book many times before. I've gone all over the world with Benvenuto Cellini, not this volume, but I cannot praise the book highly enough. He is the quintessential modern era BS artist. You will never meet anyone like him, and you will feel like you have met him. And then the Decameron by Boccaccio. This is the Wayne Rebhorn translation from Norton, and I seem to recall that it has a very sexy blurb. What does the Quarterly Conversation say about this? Wayne Rebhorn's excellent new Decameron captures the coruscating mood shifts of Boccaccio with more contemporary feeling gusto than any English language translation has yet managed. This is a Decameron at once elegant and effusive, as varied as its tones and moods of the original. That reviewer sounds very sexy. And then we'll know the transverse books, and we'll move on to the shelf itself. We'll do one shelf a day until we get all the way to the bottom of this bookcase. So the first one is this, a book I found at the Brattle, and with a title like this, I absolutely could not buy it. I could not refuse to buy it. The Vanished Pomps of Yesterday by Lord Frederick Hamilton. He was a British poobah and a diplomat, and he just tells his story in here. And I admit, I got it for the title, but then I read it, and, it's wonderful. And it reminds me about how many hundreds or thousands of these kinds of books are moldering away in libraries, never touched by anyone, never seen again. How many memoirs, and it haunts my dreams that some of them, or a lot of them, might be as good as this, and just totally unknown. And then we have... This is St. Botolph's Boston. This is a lovely old book of Boston in colonial days. There's a Boston grandee. I promise that's not me. This is by Mary Carolyn Crawford, who wrote a lot of books. I have a weak spot for historical Boston curios like this. Not actually present-day histories of Boston, but histories of Boston back 100 years ago or whatnot. I find their tone just charming. And then we have Architectural Guide to Venice. I don't actually know what this is doing in the room here. There are many, many such things, and a lot of them are better made and better looking than this. But this just takes you through every house, basically every building, and gives you a floor plan, a map of where it is, and a little bit of its history. The house where I stayed is in here. Didn't have much of a history, but in Venice everything has a history. So, and then the Viking ships of Oslo, and this is by, I want to read it to you, Thorleif Svorvold. I think that this was the catalog, the companion volume to an exhibit. I'm pretty sure. But I'm not 100% sure, and I love all things Viking. And I love this. It's got the Viking ships, the one that was uncovered, the great archaeological find that was uncovered is in every Viking book, but this has everything about it, and only it. So then we have a slim novel. This is Ronbo the Sun by Pierre Michon. This is an English language translation that I, for some reason, really, really liked. I ordinarily look at a novella like this and I think, come back when you're fully grown. But I was tremendously impressed and kept it for some reason. Then we have this thing here. It's another forgotten classic, completely forgotten. This is Philip Gibbs's, what's he call it, European Journey, in which he travels through Europe. This is full of pencil sketches, lovely pencil sketches, and it's all it is. It's just a European travel log, but it's Europe right on the brink of being lost into darkness. And when did this thing come out? There are some amazing scenes in here. Philip Gibbs was this is 1934, and there's a fantastic scene where the scenes in Germany are just, they'll send a chill up your spine, because the shadows are drawing, getting darker, and you can feel it, and so can he. But he wrote a shelf of books of travel. He's a really good travel writer. So I keep an eye out for them. Unfortunately, as I've mentioned on this channel before, I have access to some really good used bookstores here in Boston that have constant turnover, so I actually can keep an eye out for something as obscure as that with a chance of seeing it. And then there's a relatively new book. This is The Meaning of the Library, A Cultural History. This is edited by Alice Crawford. No relation, I assume, to our previous Crawford. This still has the pub sheet in it. When was this? 2015, July 2015. Before YouTube. It was just what it seems, a study of the library. I just love those sorts of things. And this one was particularly good, so I kept it. I moved it from the new bookshelf to my room. Then same thing with this, Cultural Lives of Whales and Dolphins. This, I bet I also have a pub sheet for this. Oh, no, I don't. Okay. But this is As Much as We Can Know So Far. So this is a common popular science volume of As Much as We Can Know So Far of the unknowable title. The Private Lives of Whales and Dolphins is, of course, unknowable to us, but they live in an alien world. No hard geography. The atmosphere made of sound waves and all blue and black. But this was really, really good. It's a collection of articles, and it was tremendous. And then we have another thing that I have praised on this channel many times, Rumpole of the Bailey. This is an old slipcase edition that has the best of Rumpole with illustrations all throughout. Let me see if I can find you one. They're spot illustrations and also full page illustrations all throughout. So I had to have this. And there's the wig and the bottle of Chateau Thames Embankment. So this is on the shelf, even though I have lots of other Rumpole. I'm going to put these things here. And a literary memoir, another sweet tooth of mine. You'll see plenty of them in this book room. This is Old Friends. From, when did this come out? This is 1909. This is William Winter. He was an author and publishing poobah and knew a lot of people and talked with a lot of people. This was a time when the greats would walk into your office and want $50. And he writes about them all, the remembered and the forgotten, everybody from Dickens to Curtis. And I love those kinds of books. They were written in the living current of their literary world, and that world is completely changed now, and all the names are gone or transmortified into immortals. It's fascinating to read them when they weren't that. Then John Hay, The Great Beach. I think we've seen this before. This is illustrated by David Gross. Let me see if I can show you an illustration. Some anemones. I would dearly love to find John Hay, all of John Hay, in sturdy hardcovers. I will at the Brattle. I'm sure I will find them eventually. This thing is great, but you can see it will fall apart if I read it with my customary vigor. But it's about Cape Cod, and he's one of the great writers about Cape Cod. And I have, yeah, here we go, look at this. 2 shelves down from where we are now, another copy of The Great Beach. Oh, the books in the book room need a thorough going through. So, if one of you wants a copy of The Great Beach, you let me know. And then we have a classic. I try to find copies of this and send it to everybody. I don't know why it appeals to me the way it does, except maybe that I have firsthand experience of it. I have firsthand experience of a lot of things in this room, so that'll be a motif that will come up throughout these little book tours. But this one is The Hidden Gardens of Beacon Hill. And there's one of them. You wouldn't believe from that cover photo how small that garden is. You just wouldn't believe it. And this book is full of such things. These are all, there's an area of Boston up by the State House called Beacon Hill, and it's a rabbit warren of brownstones and converted brownstones and tiny little houses. And there's no, up on the hill, there's no green space at all. You have to go down to the common for the green space. But people still carved out little spots and little nooks and crannies and filled them with flowers and trees and perennials of all kinds and bird baths and whatnot, and made these little gems tucked away from public view. And the editors here wheedled and arm twisted and sweet talked and got permission to film a lot of these. And I think one of the reasons I love this book so much is that I know a lot of these owners that have been in a lot of these gardens, including the 4 or 5 that said no and that aren't in this book or in the later version of this book. So I pull it down every once in a while just to take a mental walk through those libraries. And then we have Samuel Pepys Esquire. This is, I don't know why I have this. Also may be a catalog to an art exhibit from somewhere. This is just an overview of Pepys's life with lots and lots. There's the man himself, with lots and lots of plate reproductions of artwork and people that occur in his diary. I have no idea what this is doing in this room, to say the least. Something I have many kinds of versions of. But maybe that's a good thing about these bookshelf tours. Maybe they'll double as weeding. That'd be nice. Then we have with 3 in a row on a theme. Now, themes are very rare in this room. Usually the books go on the shelf, and I put them on the shelf. I grab them when I need them. I put them back. I grab them when I need them. I put them back. But I don't usually group them into any kind of organization. These, I think, were accidental. I think I just had room and put them where because they went. But they're all on a subject that I love. That is, who wrote Shakespeare? This one is John Michell's. They're all of a type. They're all the same. They go through the candidates. They go through the evidence one way or another. They go through what we know of Shakespeare's life. But I really liked the odd paperback of this, and the overview here I liked a lot more than I like a lot of overviews. And then we move straight on to Will Shapiro, Contested Will. This is yet another book on who wrote Shakespeare. This one is a lot feistier and more argumentative than most, and that's why I kept it, because it's really good. So I love the subject. It's evergreen for me. And then Alias William Shakespeare by Claude Sikes. And this is older. This controversy about Shakespeare has been going on forever. Yeah, this is 1947. It does what all the others do. It lays out the main candidates, the cases for each, and then lays out what we know about Shakespeare and the case for him and the case against him. But it's just endlessly fascinating reading. And then the last one, the last one's kind of funny, in the Grandpa Simpson way that any of this is funny. This is a Reader's Manifesto by B.R. Myers, in which he absolutely eviscerates a whole host, a little herd of modern sacred cows in fiction, and hilariously does so. And he does it so viciously and so comprehensively that many people have said in my life, well, come on, B.R. Myers, that's got to be you. And I would point out to them, no, he doesn't live in this country. He lives in Southeast Asia. There are many photographs of him online. He's done interviews. He's not me. We're just both cranky. That's all. Some friends might say, okay, it's not entirely beyond you. We've seen you do worse, but if you say so. But just recently, I had a long review published in the American Conservative magazine, and so did he. We were right next to each other in the table of contents. And I went to the same people who had been doubting, and I said, well, surely that has to settle the question. And one of them, the least forgiving of the bunch, looked at me and said, yeah, because you've never written under a pseudonym before and appeared next to your own name on a table of contents. So anyway, I love this book because I am not B.R. Myers. And that's it. That is bookshelf number 1 of the little East Wall bookcase. God help us. We're doing this again. So, next time we will move on to bookshelf number 2. There'll be another 20 minutes of your life lost. Thank you, BookTube.